Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the makeup tutorials that you might be used to from me. It's actually going to be about hair. A friend of mine asked me to highlight her hair from a very dark brown to like platinum blonde highlight. And I have a couple tips that will really help you strip your hair if you dye your hair too dark and you don't want to necessarily highlight it a lighter color, but it's just too dark and you want to lighten it. I got a really awesome tip that will help you, and it's seriously the best tip ever. I love it. So if you want to see how to lighten your hair or how to go from dark hair to blonde hair, this video will really help you. Keep watching, and I'm actually going to show you how I dyed my friend's hair.
Hey guarded, how are ya? I must seem so uncertain to you, transparent I see.
Okay, so take your combination of 1 part Head and Shoulders or dandruff shampoo and then 1 to 2 parts of any dry laundry detergent. Make sure it's dry and powdery. Then you're going to rub your hair the way that she's rubbing her hair right now. Good rubbing. Focusing more on the end of the hair because that hair will be more damaged and it will have absorbed the darker color more. And also you do want to rub your root, but your root will lift more easily than the ends of your hair. So just work it the way that she's doing it, rubbing it in between her hairs. Then you want to rinse it out completely and then repeat the process. The color will lift when it actually was running through the water, so you might not notice it when it's rubbing out. And well, I noticed it when I was doing it for me because I was in the shower, but whatever. With 1 part of the wet, 2 parts dry, lather, rinse, and repeat. Then make sure you dry your hair completely before you lighten it or highlight it or whatever you're doing. Okay, so when you're going to cap your hair, make sure you brush it all the way straight back. Hopefully you can see this. Ooh, your hair's going to be really dry after you strip it like that. Like you're literally stripping your hair of all essential nutrients, including hair dye. So you want to brush it all the way back so that when you cap it, if you get a little blotch at the top, when you naturally style your hair and brush it out, you won't see that blotch. And you're pulling it right from the root anyways, so it doesn't really matter which way the hair is because it's going to be the same strands of hair that you're pulling out anyways. Yeah, so just make sure you pull the cap on, your hair's brushed back, make sure you kind of hold it so, especially at the very top of your head, that it's completely pulled back. Then put your cap on and pull it right down like she is, like all the way down so it's secure right at the base. You want the elasticy part to be at the nape of the neck. Okay, so Brittany wants a general all over highlight from her dark hair to kind of just like a kind of Jennifer Aniston-y, you think? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like kind of like a Jennifer Aniston-y, not so highlighted look. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all the holes, but we're going to make them, we're not going to pull as much hair as we could through. We're going to pull about as much as we could through, which is going to be more blonde, but it'll just make it look really, really natural. And then the way that I like to pull my hair is I stick it in all the way down till you hit the head. And this does hurt a little bit sometimes, so hopefully you're not a pussy. I'm not. Sometimes you even have to like pierce it because the plastic isn't all the way through, like this one. Damn you, plastic. This plastic is serious. God damn it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so pierce through the plastic. It shouldn't be that difficult. And then go all the way down to the root. Make sure you have pierced through the plastic because sometimes it's hard to tell. Then go all the way down to the root. I like to slide across with the top of the thing facing up. Hit the root, slide across, grab a little hair, pull it up and out slowly. And see how I'm just taking this much hair. Just this much hair. Even a little less than that. So this is what your hair should look like when it's all done. As I said, what we did for this one is we pulled out all the hairs in the circles and the non-circles, just a small tiny amount, like see how much hair is in it, just like this much hair, not a lot, all the way through. And then we pulled, starting about here, I started to pull every other hair, and then about here we stopped so that the bottom of her hair will still be dark. Okay, so then we mixed up our little mixture. Follow your instructions to know how to do that. And then with her hair, since it's quite dark and we're trying to like bleach the fuck out of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dye the length of her hair, leaving about 2 inches on the root undyed. We're going to leave it on for about 20 minutes. Watch your strand test, and then I'm going to dye the rest of like the whole head, and then putting like all over the whole head once again, including the root, including the end, sorry. And then make sure you put like a clear bag thing over your head. This one came with one, or you can just use a plastic bag if you want. And then make sure you're in a warm room, or use your hair dryer to lighten the color, like just as long, maybe 5 minutes of drying your hair, and then sit around for 5 minutes, and then whatever you can handle. So once you've done that, just turn like this. You can kind of see like that her roots aren't really dyed. And then it's just more like the length of her hair. Put the bag on her head. Sit in a warmer room. Like don't sit like out in the cold, because the heat will help the color dye. And you can already kind of see like the color lifting in her hair. I don't know if you can tell that. Yeah. And then periodically just put the hair dryer to it. And you want it to be as warm as possible. Like it's creating its own heat right now, and you just want to keep it warm. Okay, so as you can see, her hair is really lifting in color. You can see the contrast between the like yellow, orangey, and the brown. But as I said, this is step one. This is seriously 15-20 minutes. So yeah, the lifting the color really works. Okay, so now we're going to do the whole head. Now we're going to finish the whole head of hair, doing the root and the length of the hair. I saw that how the root is just left and it's still dark brown, and the rest of the hair is kind of an orangey blonde color. It's been on for about 20 minutes or so. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to literally pretend like I never even put dye in the first place. I'm just going to go ahead and start at the root with the brush, saturating all of her roots fully with the same blonde dye, and then I'm just going to massage through the hair that already has dye on it, just to make sure that it's very saturated, it's very damp, and well, not damp necessarily, but you can definitely feel the hair dye in it, and you just want to make sure. Also, one thing, you'll be able to see the color changing quite noticeably. You want to make sure that as you're putting the color on, you're kind of moving the hair around, because if you put your hair kind of like, let's say you twirl a strand and then put it like this on your hair, just so it kind of sits up on your hair as it's dyeing. The way that you've twirled that hair, the hair that naturally is touching closer to your head will become more warm from your natural heat of your head, and the hair that's on the top will be exposed more to the cool. And what this can do is this can make it so that within the same strand of hair you have variations of color, because there was different amounts of heat on that strand. So you really want to make sure as you're drying your hair and as you're dyeing your hair, if you're seeing that variation in between an orangey blonde color, that you're rubbing or just kind of moving that hair around, so it's not just setting in that same spot and you're just leaving it there. You want to make sure that there's an even amount of hair being distributed throughout.
Tell me all your problems, I won't analyze or solve them for you. I'm not biased or partial, but I'm listening, and that's more than you've done for me.
I really hope this helps anyone that's trying to go from a darker color to a lighter color. And I've had a lot of horrible things that I did to my own hair, so hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. Bottom line is if your hair is still orange while it's being dyed, it's going to look orange when you rinse that color out, so leave it in as long as you can. And if there's a couple orange blotches, just focus the hairdryer on those blotches. Leave it in as long as you can. You don't want orange hair. It's brutal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.